Welcome back to my channel. And if you are visiting this space for the first time, you're also highly welcome. Let's look at this question. Is the pelvic diaphragm the same as the urogenital diaphragm? The pelvic diaphragm is not the same as the urogenital diaphragm in terms of structural configuration and also in terms of how they are placed. So let's drive through this lecture to establish the differences between the pelvic diaphragm and also the urogenital diaphragm. So let's look through the pelvic diaphragm versus the urogenital diaphragm. We try to use this image by the side to illustrate the configuration of both diaphragms. This is the general configuration of the pelvic cavity. And this pelvic cavity is limited inferiorly by the pelvic diaphragm, just a corresponding name diaphragm. And this is what is seen to be highlighted here in purple. This pelvic diaphragm is seen to form the inferior limit of the pelvic cavity, and this can also be referred to as the pelvic floor. This is made up of a collection of muscles, and this includes the levator ani muscle and the coccygeus muscle. So these two muscles are seen to form the structural component of the pelvic diaphragm that is also referred to as the pelvic floor. So we have a specific region that is located inferior to the pelvic floor or the pelvic diaphragm. And this is what is demarcated here at this point. And this region is referred to as the perineum. This perineum is a space that is located inferior to the pelvic floor or the pelvic diaphragm. This perineum is configured in a diamond-shaped outline, and this is what is represented using this image down here. And because of this alignment, it is further subdivided into two triangles. So you have an imaginary line running or crossing from one end to the other. And because of this, it is divided into two triangles. We have a triangle located here at the anterior part, and this is referred to as the urogenital triangle. While behind, we have another triangle that is located here that is referred to as the anal triangle. Let's go back to the image here by the side. This is the inferior region that is referred to as the perineum. So anteriorly at this space that is highlighted in dotted red is where we have the urogenital triangle. And this is what is seen to be carried here at this point. This urogenital triangle is so named the urogenital triangle because it allows for the passage of the urinary structure and also the genital structure. So from here, breaking down the name, we already know what this triangle entails. And behind here is where we have the anal triangle. And this is what is seen to be highlighted here in dotted blue. So this anal triangle is also referred to as the anal triangle because it is seen to allow for the passage of the anal canal. So driving deep into these names, we can be able to establish what they represent. So we have two triangles around the perineum. We have the anteriorly placed urogenital triangle, and we have a posteriorly placed anal triangle. So within this urogenital triangle is where we have the urogenital diaphragm, and this is what is seen to be highlighted here in green. So this urogenital diaphragm is limited to just the urogenital triangle. So this urogenital diaphragm here that is arrowed at this point is also structurally made up of muscles. So we have the deep transverse perineal muscle and also the external urethral sphincter. So these are the two muscles that have the structural component of the urogenital diaphragm. We also have some additional muscles that are specific to female. But if you go through my lecture on the urogenital diaphragm, you will see that in that lecture, we try to highlight these muscles. So this is what the urogenital diaphragm represents. So in summary, if you try to compare the pelvic diaphragm with the urogenital diaphragm, you'd see that in terms of structural configuration, they are made up of different types of muscle. Even though these two diaphragms are placed or located within the pelvic region, we have specific regions that they are located. For the pelvic diaphragm, it is seen to form the inferior limit of the pelvic cavity. And if you look at the alignments that it runs around this space, you see that it is a complete demarcating structure. So you see it completely filling up the pelvic outlet at this region, while the urogenital diaphragm is limited to just the anteriorly placed urogenital triangle. you see that it is an incomplete demarcating structure. So you see it is limited to just the anterior region. And of course, it is located inferior to the pelvic diaphragm. So thanks for watching this video. Let's continue to stay glued to this channel.